Welcome to Grampy's Garage. I'm Grampy. Today we're going to work on this Ryobi chainsaw. It's an RY3714 and it's about 8 years old. I bought it when we moved into the house and used it 1 or 2 times and went to use it the other day and it doesn't start. No surprise there. Checked all the normal things, the plug, the fuel. But I think what's going on is the carburetor's gummed up from gas sitting for as long as it has, and the fuel lines are probably no good at this point. So went on to Amazon and I picked up this fuel line kit. It's pretty complete. Comes with fuel line, the plunger bowl, filters, everything I'm going to need to do what I have to do with this thing. So let's get into it and figure out what's wrong with this thing. So we're going to start off by removing the air filter housing. Air filter looks fine. Like I said, it doesn't have very many hours on it. If it's got an hour on it, that's a lot. So we're going to look at this thing. It looks like we're going to have to take the carburetor out. Let's start off by removing the fuel mixture housing. Let's see what that takes. It's a T25 for the carburetor bolts, so let me look at this a little bit further. Haven't torn into this yet. Let's take the choke off. Small parts. That'll come off with the carburetor. Alright, let's take that fuel line off. This is the fuel line going to the right side of the carburetor. I believe it's the intake side. Yeah, this fuel line's pretty brittle. Take our T25. I've never had one of these apart. You could use a T25 or a flat blade screwdriver on this if you needed to. And there's the other. And I'm hoping we don't mess up the gasket that's in there. There's another screw right here that holds the intake of for the carburetor in place. Take that out and set it aside. And let's lift the carburetor out of there. There's the choke arm. And I'm going to get the trigger assembly or trigger linkage off the carburetor. Good luck getting that back in there. Oh, let's take this other line off. There we go. Goes in that hole right there. We're going to set the carburetor aside. Hopefully not damage that gasket. Run some carb cleaner through it. Let's set that aside. Alright. So here we got. Oh yeah, these things are brittle. They're hard. You know, it might help us if we took off this upper cover. Let me look and see what we got here. I think getting it back together is going to help us tremendously. There's 3 screws here, and I believe 1 up front right here. Hope you can see that from there. And then this one right here. How am I going to get that one? And then the screwdriver. There we go. And this corner one up here is longer than these other 3. So there might be a reason for that. We're going to stick that back in the cover there so we don't lose track of it. What do we have here? Yes, this is definitely going to work out a lot better doing it this way. So we have a primer bulb right here, and it looks like, let me take the gas plug out, set that over here. That one goes into the tank, that one goes to the right side of your carburetor. This one over here, oh no, that one goes to the primer bulb, and that one goes down into, I think we can do this. Okay, primer bulb just comes out. There's two latches on either side of your primer bulb where it latches into the case of the saw. So this one is probably the one with the filter on it. Comes right out like that. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll put some light on it there. So this one goes down into the filter. So this is your definitely your intake. This one comes over to the top of your bulb, and the one that goes to the line that goes to the bottom of the bulb is the one that picks up the primer fuel, and is the second line in your tank. There we go. Right over there. So this one that comes over the other side of the carburetor. Let's see what we have in here before we go further. Alright, I have a couple filters. I only need one of those. Haven't come across that yet. That almost looks like a Healy coil. It looks very much like a Healy coil. And it looks like that is our new bulb. There are several bulbs in here. Those look the same. Save that. There are other bulbs in here, I believe, for other applications. Oh, didn't want to do that. That looks like it's a tool to grab onto your fuel line in case we can't get it through. And we have different size fuel lines here. I got this from Amazon. I will put the link in the description, and it pretty much is for many different models of chainsaws or small engines. Let's make that decision in a minute. What I'm doing now is I'm going to try and fish out that filter. There we go. A little clamp on there. This line that comes around to the other side of your carburetor goes to the top fitting on your primer bulb. The other line, obviously goes to the bottom, and it's actually the longer fitting. So you have two fittings here, or you have two nipples here. There's a shorter one and a longer one. The longer one is the line that picks up the fuel from the carburetor for the prime, and the upper one is the one that brings it around to the other side of the carburetor. Just want to set that off to the side and just remember how that worked. Well, this doesn't want to seem to come out of here. Just moving it back and forth to see if I can get it out of there. It doesn't want to come out. We're going to use some goat juice. Just a little bit. Alright, let's take this filter off. There's a little clamp on it right here. This. We just snip it for now. Just like that. Something tells me this is not going to be easy to get back in. There we go. There we go. There, we got it. There's that one, and then the other one is your primer. This is the one that went to the top. There we go. It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, it's pretty swollen inside. Put it right there. Let's see how we match up now. Well, it's definitely not that one, so let's get rid of that one. That's going to be it right there. Yep, this one right here. I'll throw a little bit of white grease on here. Actually, we're going to cut it at a point. That. Then throw a little bit of white grease on here. So we get it down into this hole right here. Let's use the tool they gave us. And as soon as I get this through and have a victory dance, right before that, my camera battery's gonna die. There we go. There we go. Got it. So you want this to lay at the bottom of the tank. Okay. It's good like that. I'm gonna leave this long for now. Now we want to put the other one in. Easy there. There we go. Heat this one up. That's hot. Yep, that's hot. Oh, that's hot. And let that cool down. Okay. Throw some grease on it. That off. We're done with our tool. This is going to come around to the intake side of the carburetor. That's plenty. We want to install our filter. So I'm going to turn this around. Throw it in our fuel tank. You want this at the bottom of the tank. And she's at the bottom of the tank. I hope you can see that. Now we have one more line that goes from, we're running out of line here. Goes from the other side of the carburetor through this little notch right here and into our primer bulb here. This would be a good time right now to get our little plastic piece here back into where it goes. Come on. There we go. Right down where she belongs. carburetor. I'm going to clean this up with some carb cleaner. Make sure everything moves nice and freely. Put our throttle linkage in, like that. Be real careful of that gasket on the other side. And don't tighten one all the way down. Make sure you go back and forth. There we go. And we have another there's a third one that holds this plastic piece on. And there's a strap. I don't know if you can see it from there. Where there's a strap right here that goes between these two. There we go. Got it. Keep that loose. Let's go ahead and send these two home. Don't over tighten them. But you probably want to get them nice and snug. Make sure your linkage works before you get it all tightened down. Let's tighten this one down. 225. Working on the other side, we've got our second primer bulb line. It's in this little spot right there. There's a little guide here that holds the hose, but we want to make sure that our hose is on. Let's get our solder hose onto the carburetor. Guide there, put the wire back in the guide there. Really hard to see what you're doing here. Alright, so that's in. This one goes straight over here to this line here. The intake side of the carburetor. There we go. Go around the corner with that one because that's the way it was. She's on there. That's there. Now, how much room we have here? We have a little bit of room to play with, so we're going to, that's your bottom one, and that's your top one. Up and out of the way. Slide the one that comes over from the left side of the carburetor onto the smaller nipple here. And then let's cut this one. Is that gonna work? I think that's gonna work. So let's cut this one. And slide that onto the larger nipple. There we go. That's back in there. Over here, it's accessible. Well, it's very accessible. Let's throw a 3/4 on here and check this plug. Doesn't look that bad. Maybe wear a little bit of emery cloth through it. All right. Put this grommet for the choke lever. Make sure it works. Yep. Okay. So the screws back in it. Have these other three. Oop. That's in place. So our filter back on. All right. Throw some True Fuel in here, and we can fire it up. If all went well, she will fire up. Joker. on. Yep, she's on. Well, that does it. We replaced the fuel line, the filter, and as you can see, this little tool that I discarded at first was a lifesaver as long as you use it the right way. When you get it, when you use it, make sure you feed this down through the top of the machine into the fuel tank and not the other way. Once I fed this down through the top and brought the fuel line, both fuel lines up through the gas tank into the top of the machine, it worked great. I'm not sure why, but definitely a lifesaver, this tool. And you're gonna have to heat the ends up and get it to a point. As you can see, when I heated it up, pretty much welded it to the piece of metal. It'll come off with a lot of force, or cut it off. But it's reusable. Don't discard it. That's going to do it for the Ryobi fuel line replacement. Thank you for watching Grampy's Garage. Please like, share, comment if you would, and subscribe. See you next time.